In our world, we are constantly told that to achieve, we must hustle. We are taught that doing is the only way to get things done. But what happens when you bring that same frantic energy into your relationship with God? Have you ever heard the advice, just rest in God, and felt a surge of frustration? Maybe you thought, I would love to, but I have a life to manage. I don't have time to just sit around. We often mistake resting in God for passivity, as if it means doing nothing at all. But what if I told you that true biblical rest is actually one of the most intense, active things you could ever do? Today, we are going to tear down the myths surrounding rest. We're going to explore why you might be working far too hard on your own anxiety and how to finally step into the peace you've been chasing. The first myth we need to address is the idea that resting in God is a form of spiritual laziness, a spiritual sofa, if you will. We often think it means checking out, ignoring our bills, putting our responsibilities on hold, and hoping that God will magically fix everything while we take a nap. But the Bible never suggests that faith is an excuse for negligence. When the scriptures speak of rest, they aren't talking about the absence of work, they are talking about the absence of anxiety. You see, you can be working hard, running a business, raising children, or studying for a degree, and still be resting in God. How? Because rest is not defined by what your hands are doing. It is defined by who your heart is relying on. It is the conscious decision to stop trying to be the CEO of your own destiny. Think about a surfer for a moment. A surfer does not create the ocean. They don't control the tides, and they certainly didn't build the wave. But they have to be incredibly active. They have to paddle, they have to maintain balance, and they have to watch the horizon with intense focus. If they just lie on their board and do nothing, they will eventually drown or be swept away. Resting in God is exactly like this. It is the activity of alignment. It's the daily, sometimes moment-by-moment work of aligning your will with His. You stop trying to force the wave of your life to happen, and you start focusing on the skill of trusting the one who sends the waves. You are still paddling, but the power comes from the current, not your own strength. So, if it's so good, why is it so hard to stop and trust? Why does the idea of surrender feel like failure? It's because our egos are addicted to control. We have this deep-seated, unconscious belief that if we don't worry about a problem, then the problem isn't getting the attention it deserves. We think worry is a form of love or a form of responsibility. But let's be honest, your worry hasn't solved your past problems, and it certainly won't solve your future ones. Worry is just a way of telling God that you don't trust His timing or His ability to manage the details of your life. It is pride disguised as concern. Choosing to stop and rest is actually a bold, courageous act of humility that says, Lord, I am not big enough to handle this, but I know You are. How do we actually practice this? It starts with 3 simple but difficult shifts. First, the shift of focus. When the wave of anxiety hits, don't run to your to-do list. Stop, take a breath, acknowledge that the problem is now a matter for God's management. Second, the prayer of release. Stop just asking God to change your circumstances. Start asking God to change your heart so that you can trust Him even if the circumstances don't change right away. Third, the discipline of the no. Rest often means saying no to the things that are crowding out your peace. If your schedule is so packed that you have no time to be still, then your schedule is an idol. Be brave enough to cut back so you can breathe. Biblical rest is not the end of your productivity. It is the beginning of a life that is no longer governed by fear. When you stop trying to be your own savior, you finally gain the freedom to be the person God created you to be. You were never meant to carry the weight of your own future. Jesus didn't say, "Come to me, all you who are tired, and I will give you more energy to keep stressing." He said, "I will give you rest." That rest is found when you trade your heavy, jagged yoke of control for His light, easy yoke of trust. That is the truth about resting in God. It's not about doing less, it's about fearing less. It's about being confident that even when you are still, He is already working. If you are ready to stop carrying burdens that aren't yours, comment, "I choose to trust Him" below. Let's encourage each other in this journey. Don't forget to subscribe to Faith Sketches for more content that turns biblical wisdom into life lessons. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and until next time.